So this is one of these videos. I've got a couple of questions here for my American colleagues in the USA.
Hello, Mr. Plum. As a Canadian who travels quite frequently to America, and who owns some land down there, purely for the lumber rights, of course, I thought I'd answer your questions, and maybe even act as some sort of British to American translator.
Look, I understand. So if your perspective is why don't you shut the fuck up, you limey bastard, I am with you on that. I understand that. In fact, I'd like to precurse, if you're part of the pro-gun lobby, precurse your response with why don't you shut the fuck up, you limey bastard, right?
Nope, not going to do it. Doesn't change the fact that you're still a limey bastard, but I'm not going to do it. Now, I will say, however, that I have cut up Noel's video because it's actually quite long, but I have kept his original questions here so that the context comes through.
First question. One of the responses from the sort of pro-gun lobby to the anti-gun lobby is, well, we've got a Second Amendment right. A right to bear arms, right, is what it is, isn't it? Which apparently doesn't mean you can wear a T-shirt, which is such a shit joke. I don't even know I did that. It's almost as bad as the other joke I have about having bears. I don't know to describe the fucking joke. Well, you've got a Second Amendment right to bear arms, but surely what we're saying is, or not what we're saying because it's not me saying it, but surely what they're saying is that the sort of anti-gun lobby, when they say we should ban guns, what they're saying is we need to do away with that, isn't it? We need to amend that. I mean, I don't know much about the US Constitution, right? I'm a bit fucking ignorant about that, so please explain it to me if that's what it requires. But you can amend it, right? It's a living document. You can amend it. And I kind of gather that by the fact that you already have these things called amendments.
So one thing you have to understand is that the responses are continual back and forth between both sides here. The anti-gun lobby is free to try and get the Constitution amended, but they know this won't happen because they don't have the votes to accomplish this. So the statement, it's our Second Amendment right, is sort of like a little bit of a jab to say, hey, you might have your opinion, but it doesn't matter too much because you can't even convince most of the country to go along with you. But it's also quite a bit more than that as well. When someone talks about their Second Amendment rights, they're delivering it with the same force as if someone is talking about their freedom of speech or their freedom to a fair trial. This is lost on people like yourself, and me to some degree, because we live in countries where this freedom is far more restricted. It's important to note that Americans have this concept of inalienable rights. And that's quite a bit different than for people like you and I, who are subjects of the Queen and recipients of benefits.
So it's been amended in the past, so unless the last amendment you made was an amendment to say there ain't going to be any more fucking amendments, it can be amended.
Yeah, and you can amend unreasonable search and seizure as well. Doesn't mean it's a good idea to do it.
And the second one is this. I understand it's really easy for some smug twat in a country like the UK where there's so few guns to sort of start saying, oh, you ought to get rid of all your guns. Look at how little gun crime we have here. Look how few police shootings there are here. And it's true. We've had less police shootings, fatal police shootings in 24 years than the United States had in the first 24 days of 2015. And of course the police have guns because the bad guys have guns, and the good guys have guns because the bad guys have guns. I get all of that, and that's why I'll give you a bit of sympathy in a minute if you're part of the pro-gun lobby.
So, Mr. Plum, this is the core problem, and it's a matter of perspective. Gun violence in the United States is not the problem, and I know that sounds very, very odd to say. But the actual problem is the overall baseline of violence that a society experiences. So yes, if you take a country and then you remove all the firearms from it, gun violence will decrease. However, the baseline violence will not decrease. So let's take a look at the UK. They banned firearms. Very difficult to get firearms in the UK now. What ended up happening? Gun violence went way down. Stabbings and knife violence went way up. Now, don't quote me on this, but I seem to recall that the UK had somewhere like 3 times per capita the stabbings that the United States did. So from my perspective, it's not the weapon that's the problem. It's the core issues that each society has that's the problem.
And imagine I wave that magic wand, right? And when I wave that magic wand, it makes all the guns disappear. Not just the good guys giving up the guns, but the bad guys giving up the guns. And the police aren't going to be carrying guns anymore. They'll have some in the police station just for when the shit hits the fan, right? But the rest of the time, they won't be carrying their guns either. So if I could do that and get all those guns out of circulation, would your position alter? In other words, what I'm saying is your position that you are pro-guns, pro your right to carry guns because you know that the bad guys have got their guns? And if you didn't suspect the bad guys had their guns, you'd be quite happy to surrender your guns as well, to surrender your right to have guns? Or is it something more fundamental?
I think it's something far more fundamental. And for me, anyways, it comes down to your right to defend yourself and defend yourself reasonably. So stick with me here. Let's say I'm going to be the victim of a home invasion. And let's say through a little security camera, I can see that it's one gentleman and he has a large Bowie knife. Or even a small knife. Who cares? A small knife. A little pocket knife. A little Swiss Army knife. So he's about to break in. And like you, I have a magic wand. Except that my magic wand isn't as powerful as yours. My magic wand only allows me to conjure either a knife or a firearm. So which one do you think I would conjure? Which one do you think you would conjure? First of all, let me say thank you, Noel, for the video. I actually really enjoyed it, and I actually really enjoyed replying to it. I'm hoping you'll respond, but I know you're very busy, so probably not going to be the case. But good day to you. Thanks again for watching. Please be sure to subscribe, share with your friends, or comment. It is very much appreciated.